Hey guys, Tic Tac here. Today we just finally got to see the cards that are going to be impacted by tomorrow's patch. So we have 11 buffs and 6 nerfs. The nerfs are mostly going to be targeted to Ziliax and OTK decks, so Lamplighter and Concierge Druid. And then all of the buffs are just targeted to cards from Pearls in Paradise that were pretty weak. So the first nerfs that we have are going to be on Hydration Station and on Dr. Boom. For those, I'm actually expecting them to change the two friendly mechs to two different friendly mechs and to three different friendly tones that died this game. That way, you actually cannot resurrect and Kiliax 3 times, and that way you will have to play different tones in both Druid and Warrior. They're also nerfing the ticking module of Ziliax. What they're gonna do to it, I think, is that either they're gonna make it 6 mana, which in my opinion isn't gonna do much, or they're gonna make it so that it only works on friendly minions. Because the main problem with Ziliax is that you would actually get punished for playing minions against it. And so this way, if you're an aggro deck and you're playing against a rogue, for example, the rogue is not actually gonna be able to play Sonya and Ziliax and then copy Ziliax and make a bunch of Ziliaxes. So I hope that's the nerf we're gonna see. Keep it at 5 mana and make it only work with friendly minions, so that when you have 6 minions on the field, for example, as a rogue, your Ziliax is gonna cost 4 mana because you play the 4/5 Taunt Lifesteal Rush. When it comes to Concierge Druid, they're actually nerfing both Clea and Concierge itself. I'm expecting Clea to just get reverted from the boost it got a while ago. So it used to be a 2/4, they buffed it to a 3/5, and I think it's going to go back to a 2/4, as the minion itself has been pretty good. And then Concierge, I'm actually not sure what they're going to do, but I would hope that what they do is that they make it not be able to cost 1 less, so that it doesn't actually work with drinks. But I think what they're gonna do is that either they're gonna make it 4 mana or nothing else. Actually, I just think they're gonna make it 4 mana. And finally, Lamplighter. So Lamplighter is not actually really a problem in Top Legend, but I know it's been a problem at lower rank, so I can understand why they're nerfing it. I think it's just gonna go to 4 mana, maybe get like better stats, maybe like a 4/3 or something like that, or 4/4 even maybe. But yeah, it's gonna get the same treatment as Shock Speeder got a while ago. If it goes to 4 mana though, the thing is that you can still go Sonya, play a Scoundrel, and then make it 1 mana. So it actually might not be that much of a nerf for a deck like Sonya, or like Elemental Rogue. So the first card that's gonna receive a buff is Right Cleaver. I think they're gonna just make it 6 mana. And I'm sort of hopeful for that card, maybe, because you can trail mix into it if you play Ham, because you get access to Druid cards. You can also ramp into it with New Heights. You can tutor it with the 1/2, and one thing that I thought about after seeing the patch is that you can potentially pupil the minion sandwich. So if you get Right Cleaver down on like turn 4, turn 5 maybe, with either trail mix or ramp and coin, and then manage to like play, let's say, the 2 mana card that draws stones, or the 3 mana cards for quality insurance that draws stones, or the 3 mana cards so all you can eat. And then you get, let's say, a Whale, or you get Ziliax, the Unkiliax version, or you get maybe even the Cheesemonger. Is it not called Cheese? Whatever, the 7 mana card or 8 mana card. No, it's 9 mana, right? Yeah, the 9 mana card, or maybe even like an Elec or a Sleepy Dragon, like any of those cards in there, and then you can copy it with Pupil, play it maybe twice, then Hydration Station is also a lot better. And so maybe there is something to do there. I'm not convinced that it's gonna make the card playable, because Warrior has access to a lot of really good cards already, but you never know. And so yeah, that's the only buff for Warrior. Then we have Hunter with Ranger Gilly. Don't really have an opinion. I don't know how you can fix this card. Like, the effect is really bad. So like either you change the Death Rattle so it's like all minions in your hand, deck, and battlefield or something like that. Like make it actually a good card, or make it 5 mana and then it's still unplayable. Regardless of what they do, I don't think the card is gonna be good. After that, we actually have quite some cards in Priest that are gonna get changed. We have the 2 mana. Yeah, we have Nightshade Tea. that's gonna get changed. It probably will go to 1 mana, is my guess. Or maybe deal more than 3, or maybe take less than 2. But you don't really want to take less damage because you have this card that works with it. I think they just want to overall make the paint package better. Another card that's also getting buffed is Twilight Medium. I feel like they just make that card 5 mana. I don't think it's a playable card, but you never know. So in Druid, they're actually gonna buff Laura, Cruise Captain Laura, and I don't think there is a way to make this card ever playable unless you make the location discoverable, but then it might just be way too broken. So yeah, I'm expecting them to just lower the cost or maybe up the stats, like maybe make it a 5/6 or something. But I don't see this card ever being played in any Druid deck ever. Another card that's getting buffed that I thought was a Druid card for a second, because it's mostly seen played Druid, is Tsunami. I actually don't really know how they're gonna buff Tsunami, honestly. If you buff this card, it's like what you can do is you can change the mana cost or change the amount of water elementals. Or maybe be able to target the enemies. That sounds really strong. So maybe they just put it to 7 mana. That's my best guess. I don't really understand the buff on this card because I thought the card was pretty strong already. DK is actually getting quite a bit of buffs because Shaman is getting buffed and DK is getting buffed. So Buttons gets a buff. I'm actually not sure how you buff Buttons. They could give it Taunt or like they could up the stat, make it cost a tiny bit less, like 4 mana 4/5 or something like that. The card is not great, so it kind of makes sense that they buff it. What's very interesting though is that in Shaman, that's directly linked to DK because of buttons. They're actually buffing the Razzle Dazzler, which I think they're gonna make it 6 mana. And at 6 mana, I could actually see this card being pretty strong in DK because you can already play a decent amount of spell schools. You have Shadow and Frost directly added to your class. And through buttons, you can actually play with Molten Magma, which is fire. And so if you play these 3 already, this is basically an inspiration, like the Mage inspiration for 7 mana, but it's 6 mana, it's already having a body. And it summons 1/5 cost in itself. Like it starts by summoning a 5 cost and it repeats for each spell school. So if you play 2 spell schools, you get a 4/4 and then you get 3 5 costs. And 5 costs in the game are overall pretty strong. Like it's usually 4/5s, 5/5s, and like there are some high rolls like Rocket Hopper, for example, or like Doomguard. There are also some low rolls like Blood Treant, but overall they're pretty strong. And they're even buffing another card in Shaman in Natural Talent. I think they could make it 2 mana. I feel like it's pretty decent at 2 mana. At 3 mana, it's completely unplayable. But at 2 mana, I kind of like it. And it would be another nature spell that could potentially be added to DK. So then you would actually be able to draw 4 different cards with buttons. Then we have 1 card in Paladin, Service Ace. After this minion gains attack, reduce the cost of the highest cost card in your hand by 1. I don't think this card can really ever see play in Paladin, if I'm being honest. They're probably giving it the Spider Tank treatment, making it a 3/4. They could also make it 2 mana, but I still also don't feel like it's gonna get played at 2 mana because they probably make it a 2/3. Or yeah, they probably make it a 2 mana 2/3 if they put it to 2 mana. Maybe you can see it in a Linessa Paladin deck that tries to OTK, and so like you have that card to reduce your hand, but I cannot doubt it. And finally, the very last card that's gonna get buffed is Conniving Conman. So 4 mana 4/4, replay the last card you've played from another class. I I really don't know how they're gonna buff this. I feel like they're gonna make it so that you replay the last card you've played, period. I think it still makes the card completely unplayable, and I don't really understand why this card is even in the game in the first place, to be honest. But yeah, I mean, all buffs are always welcome, to be fair. So yeah, from taking a quick look at what the top legend meta looks like right now, so this is top 1k. Shaman takes a hit with the Zilli nerf, Tempo Druid takes a hit with the Chia nerf, and the Zilli nerf as well. Zarimi Priest also takes a hit with the Zilli nerf, Concierge Druid gets a hit with Concierge and Chia. Pirate Shaman gets hit with the Zilli nerf. Handbuff Paladin actually does not get hit, which is surprising to me. Same for Insanity Warlock. So I feel like decks that ran Ankiliacs were actually pretty bad. Like Lamplighter Rogue is overall not really played in Top Legend. It's not a good deck. Ziliax Warrior, not really a good deck. I think it's more of a design issue and like play pattern that people don't like than actual power level. Really Rogue is kinda getting nerfed because of the Ziliax nerf, so I'm expecting it to be harder for Excavate Rogue to survive. And yeah, other than that, I'm pretty happy with the nerfs. I think they're fine. I like the fact that they changed Hydration Station Boom Boss, not Boom Boss, Doctor Boom, and overall just tune down aggro with the ticking Zilli and OTK with Lamplighter, Concierge, and Chia. And yeah, thanks a lot for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.